Okay, Santos, we can start. It is my big pleasure to speak with you today because this is not very common to speak with somebody with the huge knowledge which is getting back thousands of years, and this knowledge mostly was forgotten. So we not discover something new. We just try to refresh this knowledge and because the situation today is very bad regarding the information, and everybody have access to Wikipedia, which all we know that is not really bank of true knowledge. Yeah, it is manipulated under big control, and first pages it's a pages what was sponsored, which is somebody paid to be on the first or second page, which is not related to get the real information. So it's my big pleasure to see today Santos Bonacci, one of the biggest in the world man who is fighting for knowledge for all of us. Hello, Santos. How are you?
Very well, brother. And yourself?
Very good, thanks. Very good. We can start today to present a bit information for astrology, medicine, a connection between body, mind, and soul, how all is connected, how the planets are connected to the different energies like masculine, sun and masculine, and moon, feminine energies, and to be healthy. Actually, we need the balance. We need this med. What starts, even the word medicine starts med, which is the balance. Yeah, to be in the middle. In our body, and with balance of 12 minerals and actually everything to live with nature. We just need to live as nature shows us. It's a special code, golden ratio, which we can see everywhere in our body, in nature, in music. So this is balance. What we can be close to this to be healthy, and I think you have a lot to say about this, Santos.
Yeah, well, the body is electrochemical. Energy is electricity, the transverse wave, and so in order to keep the body healthy, the body requires voltage, it requires energy, and the energy comes in the form of a transverse wave. The transverse wave is going like this.
Yeah, sinus, cosinus, yeah.
Yeah, and so it is, it creates abrasion and friction, and of course it disintegrates. So this is how the body decomposes and organisms decompose. It's because the transverse wave is not eternal. The longitudinal wave, which is magnetic pulse, this is different. This is unlimited energy, and it does not disintegrate, this wave. So the ancients knew how to keep the body healthy by giving it the right minerals. Minerals are energy. And they would administer the salts of salvation. There are 12 salts, and they all correspond to a sign of the zodiac. So Aries is potassium phosphate, Taurus is sodium sulfate, Gemini is potassium chloride, Cancer is calcium fluoride, Leo is magnesium phosphate, Virgo potassium sulfate, Scorpio Libra sodium phosphate, Scorpio calcium sulfate, Sagittarius silica, Capricorn calcium phosphate, Aquarius sodium chloride, and Pisces iron phosphate. And those are the 12 salts that make up your body. Now, Huxley discovered these 12 tissue salts when he was examining the cremated remains of animals and human beings. And he found in all the bodies there were only these 12 salts. So he learned how to administer these salts to heal people and cure people. And this is what the science of astrology does. Astrology is the science that enables the astrologer to be able to see the weaknesses, which sign is weak in the chart. If Pisces is weak, well, Pisces rules the nervous system. There are 12 systems in the body. Cerebrospinal, Aries.
Yes, the head. Yeah.
Endocrine system, Taurus. Respiratory, Gemini. Cancer, digestion. Leo, heart and circulation. Virgo, lymphatic. Libra is the skin. Scorpio is the generative system. Capricorn is the skeletal system. Aquarius is the muscular system. And Pisces is the nervous system. And so if you have a weak Pisces, you can tell if the individual, in that way, you can tell if they are suffering with weak nerves. They might be, they might be very nervous people, or have some illnesses related to the nerves. So the salt that will correct that situation in the body is iron phosphate. Iron phosphate is the element of Pisces, and when you administer that, the nervous system heals and improves in health.
Yeah, so the depression can be from this as well. So it's often somebody is going to the psychological doctor and he has a depression. He said big depression. Yeah, he can do suicide because of missing some minerals, and the doctors don't really know what is the problem. So he prescribe prescription for some chemical drugs, or even get worse. Yeah?
Yes.
Because they don't know the reason of how the human body react. Yeah, and the nervous system is also even today is a lot of diseases connected to stress.
Yes.
It must be very cold in Australia.
Yes, it is. Yeah, well, doctors are not interested in healing because nature has its own healing, and magnetic energy is it expresses itself astrologically. In other words, astrology is the language of energy, and how energy creates certain phenomena, and it creates what we call solid. My body, supposedly this body, this flesh, this is solid. Mm-hmm. But it's not. It's made of atoms. Hence we call it an anatomy. So what is an atom? Well, we are told that it is a proton a neutron and an electron? Well, the torus field, an atom is a torus field. That's what an atom. And a torus field so what you have in a torus field is you have you have an inertial plane, and this would be a neutron. And then here you have divergent centrifugal lines reaching wave amplitude, then reaching wavelength, then flipping over and converging centripetally is coming back inside. And so the energy is going around like this. And when it is here, coming from the 0 point, the heart of the apple, it is a proton. And then when it's coming in here, it is an electron. And this is the shape of the atom. See this cloud, they call this the electron. Well, this electron cloud is simply the torus field. And your body is like this, because your body is a torso, which is a torus.
Yes.
And your torus comes from your mother's uterus. Now, that's a torus. So, here is the neutron. It is dielectricity. Dielectricity. And from here is coming divergent centrifugal lines, which is the proton. Magnetism. Mag means to move in Sanskrit. This is moving. Tor backwards is wrote. Rota, rotate. This is the torus rotating field of energy. So when you understand, then this electron is electricity. L.
L, yes. Like Elohim.
Yes. Dielectricity, magnetism, electricity. Here we have this is, this is Ra, and this is L. Electricity. Pro is like bro, abrasion, abracadabra. So this is where the word of the root to pronounce, to speak, and it has to do with magnetism, radiation, Ra. And the neutron, this is Isis. And so when you look in the Hindu, they give you
Krishna.
oh, sorry. The proton, Radharani. Radha, the consort of Krishna. And Belarama. So you see, Israel is Krishna, Radha, and Belarama, the Trinity in the East. Okay, so when you understand these three field modalities, there's always three things happening. This is why scientists tell you there is a neutron, a proton, and an electron, and they are right. This is correct. But what they're not understanding is that the atom they're looking at, this is the atom. All is atom. That's the atom. And so when you manipulate magnetism, you are learning the greatest healing modality, magnetism. And we have to learn how to manipulate, like magnetic MRI machines, magnetic I forget what they're called, but an MRI machine is manipulating this magnetic field. Okay, so if this was a magnet and you put a film, a viewing film, a ferrous viewing film in front of the magnet, you will get this. So you will get a dielectric plane, and then you'll have many lines coming around. Now, this is astrological, because what happens here is you've got, this is like the Tropic of Cancer, this is like the equator, and this is like the Tropic of Capricorn. And all Taurus fields are doing this. The first 30 degrees coming out from the center is Aries. Then Taurus. Then Cancer, Gemini.
Gemini, yes.
Cancer. See? Tropic of Cancer.
This always start from Aries.
Always. All energy, all thought forms, all emotion forms, all waves. They start in Aries and they finish in Pisces. Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Tropic of Capricorn. This one's the Tropic of Cancer. This one's Capricorn. Aquarius, your sign?
Yes.
Pisces. So what you have, this is the key and the secret to understanding. All fields of knowledge are based on energy. And this is energy. This is the equator of the earth.
Yeah.
This is the Tropic of Cancer. This is the Tropic of Capricorn. And this is the ecliptic. Starts in Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Tropic of Cancer. Leo, Virgo, Libra.
Mhm.
Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces. All signs, all energy does this. Here is the Mason,
Symbol.
the royal arch. Okay, see here, Aries,
Oh yeah, I see.
Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo. So what we have here, it's telling you this is the equinox. This is the flat Earth.
Mhm.
This is the sky, and the sun is beautiful when it's rising in the morning, strong at midday,
Yeah.
and wise when it's setting. And then this is the year as well. March 21st, equinox.
Yes, the start of spring.
September 23rd, equinox. Solstice, June 21st. So if we copy this royal arch,
Yeah.
and we learn the secrets, this is the secret of Jewish, very profound Jewish and Christian secrets here. The secrets of energy. We have the astrological man. Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Tropic of Cancer,
Mhm.
Tropic of Capricorn.
Which is legs, yeah. Yeah, I see. It's all connected.
Okay, so what this is doing, we'll make this better. So, what we have is a 24-hour clock. We do the equator, Tropic of Capricorn. And so what we do is we put March 21st, equinox. June 21st, solstice. September 21st or 23rd, equinox. Equal. December 21st. Here we have the year. Spring, summer, autumn, autumn, winter, the fall.
Mhm. Falling.
The sun is falling. Christmas Day. Aries, Taurus, Gemini. Summer, Cancer, Leo, Virgo. Autumn, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius. Winter, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces. Here we have 6 a.m. because this is a 24-hour clock.
Yes.
Here we have 12, midday. 6 p.m., 12 midnight. Now this is a 24-hour clock. 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9, 10, 11, 12, midday. This line is called the meridian. Everything this side, from here to here, it's anti-meridian. AM. 12 a.m., 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m. 7, 8, 9, 12 a.m. Before the meridian, anti-meridian. After is post-meridian. Post. PM. Everything is after the meridian. So, every day, the sun is rising in the east. This is the east. This is the west. East ascendant sign. Here is the ascendant. ASC. When the sun is rising in the morning, it's here in the 12th house.
So when somebody born, his sun is in this place actually, which is ascendant, yeah? The first house.
If he's born at 6 in the morning, yes. If he's born at 7 a.m., his sun will be here in the 12th house. 12, 11, 10.
So it has influence on the body, ascendant, yeah?
Yes, yes. So some houses for the sun are good and some are not so good. So to be born between 7 and 8 in the morning, it's not a really good time at all. Better here, between 8 and 10, this is very good. 11th house, very good for the sun. The sun loves the 11th house. People are very happy when the sun is in this house. They are born very happy. Also, here, people born between 10 a.m. and 12 a.m., sun here, big career. This is the career, the public life. Someone born here, with the sun here, very spiritual. This is the religious house. Spirituality is here.
So it doesn't matter is it in the morning or in the night? Or is it? Is matter? Does it matter or?
Well, we're just talking about one thing here, the sun. I'm just describing how this is a 24-hour clock. Every day, this is the firmament. This is the stars in the heaven, the zodiac.
Yes.
The 12, the ecliptic. This is the ecliptic. And the planets, they are going in the ecliptic always. The sun is always on the ecliptic. And this is turning every 24 hours.
Yes.
But the planets, they are going this way because the signs in astrology turning, they are reversed. Instead of going this way, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, they are going Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer that way because everything is going around yearly like this, but daily, this is a daily clock. So they appear to be going this way, and they are, but progressing 1 degree every day. The sun is going 1 degree that way along the ecliptic. So if you're born usually between 6 and 8, you will have the sun in the 12th house. This is good for, this is the house of enlightenment, the house of friends, the house of career, the house of religion, the house of death, the house of partners, illnesses, pleasure, private home life,
Yes.
communication and brothers, wealth and substance, and the personality.
Ego.
So what you have now is you have the beginning and the foundation of all sciences, especially astrology. It's here. This is the round table of King Arthur. Arthur's round table and his 12 knights.
Yes.
Jesus, Jupiter, Zeus. Thor. Jesus is Jupiter and Zeus, Greek Roman names for Thor. So it's Arthur. And Jesus has 12 disciples, just like Arthur has
12 knights.
12 knights. Because Thor, Jupiter, Zeus, has a 12-year orbit. Zeus is a planet. Jupiter is a planet. Zeus, which takes 12 years. The sun will go around the ecliptic once a year. That's a solar return. So if you're born here, and the sun's got to go this way around the ecliptic, of course, it takes 1 year. Jupiter takes 12 years. So that's why Jupiter, Zeus, Roman, Greek, Zeus. Jupiter is Thor. Arthur and his 12 knights. So, yeah. So this is the key to nature. They're telling you, how nature is energy is working. Energy works like this. Here is the daily cycle of the sun, clearly. You know, in the morning in the east, it's beautiful. In midday, it's strong. And when it's setting, it is wise. And these are all the spring months. These are all the summer months. And then winter, fall and winter. And so it's very important to understand this, because this is syncretism. It is thinking and bringing together the science of energy. Energy is God.
Yeah, so a lot of people are asking why we are so different. So if somebody is born, for example, between 6 a.m., 7 a.m., this is like a frequency, what programming our DNA when we born. And I think also 9 months before.
Yes.
That's why we have influences of Pisces, of like you are Aries, your energy of Mars. I am moon in Taurus. I've got the moon in Taurus, so I have got influence of Venus, and music, creation, creativity, and I've got a very strong sun in my Vedic sign, which is Kritika, which is sun and fire. This influenced me, and also Aquarius zodiac, which is Mercury and Saturn. Yeah.
And what time were you born?
9:35 p.m.
Okay, so 9:55.
9:35.
Okay, 6, 7, 8, 9. You have the sun in the 5th house. Very good for pleasure. Very good for
children.
This is the house of children.
Yeah.
If you have another planet here, maybe Mercury. If you have Mercury together with the sun here, it's very good for children.
I've got
the sun alone in the fifth house, not very good. You don't want the sun alone. You want the sun with
Yes, with
company
somebody.
in the fifth.
I've got a lot of children and very nice, very clever, beautiful.
Well, then you must have Venus or Mercury
Venus.
in the fifth house.
Yes.
Well, there you go. Okay, so yeah, if you've got Venus, Venus loves the fifth house. Venus is the ruler of the fifth house. So
my one of the daughter names is Vanessa, and I give her this name because before she born, butterfly came to my house and stayed 2 days, and I check what the type of this butterfly is, and in dictionary was the Vanessa name of this butterfly. So Vanessa is also connected with Venus, I think.
yes, of course. That's what I was going to say. Vanessa, Venessa.
Yes.
It's the same word. Yes. So what that brings me to then is to when you look at an astrological chart, you see here. This is how in the West we have the first house, like I put on the board there. First house, second house, third house, fourth house. Well, the Hindus, they have a box. Okay, so what they do is they go like this.
Yeah, Hindu Vedic astrology. You mean the Jyotish or other?
Yes. So what they're doing is they're going like this. And so they're done there, and then they just do a no, there was a better way of doing it. Now have I forgotten it? Shit.
It doesn't matter, I will show on the picture.
Yeah, well anyway, and now you've got first house, whoops, that's very rough. First house, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And that's how it works. Same with ours, first, second. Usually they put the ascendant, really they usually put the first house up here. And they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Whereas this is corrected. You see how this is much smarter. This now has put house number 1 here, and house number 2 and 3, because now the ascendant is always here at the 6 o'clock mark, or if this is a 12-hour clock, 9. So 12, 3, 6, and 9 on a 12-hour clock. 24-hour clock, it's always 12, 6, 12, 6. Because this is the clock. This is the time. Time is chronos. Chronology.
Horus.
Yeah. Timmy. Tommy. The tom-tom. It's sound and light and time. Okay? And so when we learn how to manipulate this energy, we can heal ourselves by using magnetism. You know, we can generate a nice field, a torus field. We already saw that this is just the torus field. And this is always here like that. and Aries is always here, and Taurus is actually talking about the Taurus field, because it's the number 2 sign. Aries is 1, and 2 is the most powerful sign in that it's doubling from here, whereas 3 is not doubling anymore. Neither is 4, neither is 5. So you must be able to see this Taurus field starting from here, 6 o'clock in the morning, and the year starting here at March 21st, and going up to the Tropic of Cancer, and going through spring, summer, autumn, and winter, and morning, afternoon, evening, and night. And the energies there are described in there symbolically. Arian energy is always in the morning. Taurus is always between 8 and 10, relaxing. This is fiery morning. You wake up at 6 a.m. Ding, 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 ding. Got to go to work. Bang. You get dressed. Here, this is the head. This is the neck. This is the arms of the body. Remember?
Yes, I remember. Always double sign or signature, which is Pisces or.
Yeah. So you wake up in the morning at 6 a.m. You put something. You wake up in your head.
Yes.
Taurus, you put something in your mouth. Taurus rules the mouth. You have breakfast.
Yeah.
Gemini rule the twins. These are the twins. You go and work. You start making a house. You're building.
Yes.
Cancer is the digestion system. Leo is the heart, pumping. Okay. Virgo is also digestion. And this is how energy is working everywhere, all the way up to the big galaxies, all the way down to the little atom, neutron, proton, electron, Israel.
Micro and macrocosmos, yeah?
Yep. Yep.
So the Masons had the access to this big knowledge and entry to use it. Probably they're using up to date. But this knowledge was in the past more common than today, I think.
Yes, it is. And the reason why it's not common now is because we have been, for 500 years, we have been persecuted by the Jesuits, who created the globe model and funded Copernicus and made a globe. And so now astrologers are using the Copernicus model, which is wrong. See, this is our true cosmology in here. This is Ptolemy. When Copernicus came, 2,000 years ago, 1,500 years before Copernicus, we knew the world was like this. It was astrological.
Yes.
You see? Let me read to you the true world we live in. When Copernicus made his book Revolutions, the world says that this guy, his cosmology was corrected, and Copernicus's globe theory is the correct theory. Well, let's have a look what it says here.
Sure.
This is the cosmology which I am going to support because I am an astrologer, and Ptolemy was an astrologer, whereas Copernicus was a Jesuit, and the Jesuits are behind the globe and globalism, and I've exposed them, and the elite families who are behind the globe and globalism and global warming and global governance and global economy and global religion.
Everything is global.
So all of a sudden, 400 years ago, everybody had to accept the globe. And many countries did not accept this. China didn't accept it. So they sent the opium, undertook the opium wars. and they destroyed China's spirit.
Mhm.
And then China was flat earth all the way up to the middle of the 1800s. But the Jesuits persisted because the Jesuits are behind the New World Order, which is the globe. Because the old order, so this is the old order. The New World Order started with the Copernican revolution. Simple.
Yes. Yeah.
The no-brainer. Okay? The New World Order is founded on the Inquisition. Now it's called the War on Terror. But first it was the Crusades, then it became the Inquisition. Now it's the same Inquisition run by the same families, elite
Yes.
families, and it's the New World Order based on the Copernican revolution. This is the old world order. Let me tell you how the old world was.
Yes, please.
Now, let me remind you when Copernicus wrote, when Ptolemy was writing, I put here on the board some names. You can see it here, 2,000 years of history.
Yeah, Copernicus was Polish, and it is not very known today in Poland that he belongs to Jesuits. And all the Jesuits spend a lot of energy and money to set the new schools and new teaching of knowledge. What they teach in the school, they influence it a lot.
Yes, yes. Let me show you, brother, how important this science is. This is Marcus Manilius. Marcus Manilius was the astrologer to Caesar Augustus. Here we have 2,000 years of history. Here we are today.
Mhm.
Can you see this?
You can put a bit camera a bit higher, Santos. Oh, it's perfect now.
Yeah, please get everything because this is very, very important. Okay.
Yeah.
Copernicus came here with his book in 1543. The Jesuits were created in 1541. Bang. Galileo Galilei, Jesuit. Newton, Jesuit. Globalist, gravity, globalists. Before that, we had Marcus Manilius,
Mhm.
stationary flat Earth. Stationary Earth. Definitely,
Yes.
I know stationary Earth. Globe, I'm not sure about this astrologer.
Mhm.
Vettius Valens.
Mhm.
Stationary Earth, vegetarian. These are all vegetarians. Astrologers are vegetarian, real astrologers.
Real.
Any astrologer who eats dead corpses is not an astrologer. I will show you this.
Yes. The
Can't be.
problem-
No, an astrologer has a high standard. These are men of God. This is a godly science. Dorotheus of Sidon. Dorotheus, 2nd century. This is 1,000 years ago. This is 2,000 years ago.
Uh-huh.
Vegetarians, flat earthers, geocentric.
Geocentric, yeah.
Zosimos, 3rd century, Greek astrologer. Al-Biruni, Persian astronomer, 1,000 years ago. We still have his flat earth map. The flat earth azimuthal equidistance comes from, one of them comes from Al-Biruni, astrologer. Geocentrist, vegetarian. Sallustius, friend of Iamblichus. Iamblichus, friend of Porphyry. Porphyry, one of the greatest astrologers who ever lived. Vegetarian, geocentrist. Here's his book on the abstinence of animal food. Neoplatonist. Neoplatonists were vegetarians. Astrologers, Geocentrist. Bonatti sounds like Bonacci.
Yes.
Friend of Dante. Both were against the papal families. Both were persecuted, Bonatti and Dante. Ptolemy, we're going to read his book. 2nd century. Very important, this man. This man, what he had here, served for 1500 years, all the way up to here, up until the Jesuits started globalism.
Yes.
Okay? Firmicus Maternus, we're going to read from his book. Firmicus, 4th century. Porphyry, 3rd century. Ptolemy, 2nd century. Vettius Valens, Dorotheus, 2nd century. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at our true geocentric model. This is the true astrological model of the universe. It's not Copernican. The revolution failed because people have woken up. You know,
True.
it's like Santa Claus, the Santa Ball. I call it the Santa Ball. Doesn't exist. This is the world we live in. The world is divided into two parts, the elemental region and the ethereal. The elemental region is constantly subject to alteration and comprises the four elements, earth, water, air, and fire. The ethereal region, which philosophers call the fifth essence, encompasses by its concavity the elemental. Its substance remains always unvaried and consists of 10 spheres, of which the greater one always spherically environs the next smaller, and so on in consecutive order. First, therefore, around the sphere of fire, God, the creator of the world, placed the sphere of the moon. So you see he's saying here, first is the earth, which he calls the sphere of fire because it is of volcanoes and hot. So then that of Mercury, then that of Venus, then that of the Sun, and afterwards those of Mars, of Jupiter, and of Saturn. Each of these spheres, however, contains but one star, and these stars, in passing through the zodiac, always struggle against the prima mobile, or the motion of the 10th sphere. They are also entirely luminous. You see, the planets are not physical bodies, they are luminous bodies.
Luminous.
Yeah. In the next place follows the firmament, which is the 8th or starry sphere, and which trembles or vibrates in two small circles at the beginning of Aries and Libra, as placed in the 9th sphere. This motion is called by astronomers the motion of the axis and recess of the fixed stars, probably in order to account for the precession of the equinoxes. This is surrounded by the 9th sphere, called the crystalline or watery heaven, because no star is discovered in it. Lastly, the prima mobile, styled also the 10th sphere, encompasses all the before-mentioned ethereal spheres and is continually turned upon the poles of the world by one revolution in 24 hours, from the east through the meridian to the west, again coming round to the east. At the same time, it rolls all the inferior spheres around with it by its own force, and there is no star in it. Against this prima mobile, the motion of the other spheres running from west through the meridian to east, contends. Whatever is beyond this is fixed and immovable, and the professors of our orthodox faith affirm it to be the empyrean, heaven, which God inhabits with the elect. Okay, well, that was a bit difficult to understand if that's the first time you've ever read this. So let me show you what he described. So let's take this timeline off.
Okay.
You see, all the astrologers over here were in antiquity came from a tradition of vegetarianism, geocentrism. Then the powers that be, Rome and the Germanic Holy Roman Empire and the Persians, etc., they realized that to make a globe would be the best way to enslave mankind and keep them in a contained mindset of not exploring beyond.
Like in Truman's Show, they always show him, don't travel because you will get some catastrophe by plane. Or...
Yes. So what he is explaining is this. First is the Earth. Then is Mercury. So this is the flat Earth. And of course, the Earth is inside of a torus field. It has to be. It can't be any other way. The torus field is like this, or it's a split torus, and it's going like this, which explains a lot about the stars. But let me continue. First is the Earth, number one. Then Mercury. Then Venus. Moon. Mercury, Venus, Sun, Mars. Remember, he described this.
Yes.
Jupiter, Saturn. So he described Moon, Mercury, Venus, Sun, Jupiter, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. Then he said there is a firmament, which is ruled by Uranus, the father of Saturn, the father of Jupiter. So this is the firmament. This is also in the Bible. In the second day of creation, God created the firmament. In the fourth day of creation, God put the sun and the moon and the stars in the firmament, and the planets. So this is the firmament. And the firmament is going around, well, it's contained in here, and then we've got the crystalline sea. He describes the waters above the firmament. Neptune.
God of the sea.
Yes, the waters above. The ninth heaven. The eighth heaven. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Earth. Earth is heart.
Heart. Mm-hmm.
So, the last one is Pluto. And this is called the primum mobile. And so what he's saying is, these 7 heavens, there is only one star in them. That's what he said. Moon, Mercury, Venus, Sun, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn. Then he said, in the firmament are all the stars and all the fixed stars. This is the fixed stars that you see turning along the ecliptic.
Mm-hmm.
And he said there is no planet found in it, but it's true. It's not entirely correct because it's Uranus. Uranus is the ruler of the firmament. Uranus means is the husband of Gaia. Gaia is the earth.
Yeah, Gaia.
Gaia is the earth. And so firm and terra firma. Ooh. Too many R's. Firmament, Uranus, terra firma, Gaia, husband and wife. The firmament is the husband of the terra firma. And so this is why you've got the goddess Nut, who's holding up the heavens like this in Egyptian cosmology, and all the stars are in her belly. And she's got her hands down here and her legs down this way, you see?
Are we present here?
And here is Geb, the ground. And this is the sky god, Nut. Or, backwards, Atun. Nut, the night.
Uh-huh.
And, yeah, and so this crystalline sea is in the Bible as well. The Bible talks about the firmament and it talks about the crystalline sea. This is the biblical model, what I'm describing here. And this firmament is what they are trying for us not to discover. They don't want us to understand that there is a beautiful crystalline structure around this torus field that we live in, described to us by all the ancients like this, to be exactly like this. And these 7 spheres are more compressed and they are in the firmament as well. And then these are the waters above, the crystalline sea. And the primum mobile, and this is like the 10 concentric rings of the Kabbalistic tree.
Tree of life?
Well, yes, of course. And so you've got 7 levels. Seven heads and 10 horns, and that is the nature of the torus field. The torus field has these 10 layers. Okay? It has these, it's an egg, it's an egg, a golden egg, and it's not perfectly spherical. It's more like an egg. And the top part is bigger, and then the little part. This part is 1, this part is 5. 5 is 1.618. The golden ratio. The golden.
Yeah, it's the same. When the life starts, looks like 2 cells starting the life. Yeah, the shape of.
Yeah.
It has to be golden ratio as well. Everywhere in the nature, 1.618.
Yes. Now, did you want to talk about the eclipse?
Yes.
I thought that was one of your questions, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. just be a minute. Okay, so
we can talk about that. Sorry.
Many people watched the eclipse, and many people had cameras, and no one saw the moon pass in front of the sun. Do you realize this?
When the people saw the moon and the sun, they couldn't see the sun, which is very hard to understand why we can't see the sun if it's so far away.
Well, let me show you what happens at every eclipse. Okay, so what happened is no one saw the moon. No one saw the moon pass in front of the sun on the 21st of August. No one. No one ever has seen the moon pass in front of the sun at any eclipse in the history of the universe. I'll tell you why. The sun, astrology teaches that whenever a celestial body is within 15 degrees of the sun, (30 degrees), you cannot see moon, Venus, Mercury, or any planet, any star, anything within 15 degrees of the sun. This is called under the beams. Or under the rays. So when the moon, every month, the moon is doing this. When she's waning. And the moon advances along the ecliptic 13 degrees every day. So by the time the moon gets from here to here, it's 60 hours. Or 2.5 days. For 2.5 days, when the moon comes under the beams, when the moon hits the 15th degree here she's at 16 degrees, you can see the moon. As soon as the moon advances into the 15th degree, it's gone. It becomes invisible for 2.5 days. The moon is right there, you can't see it. Right there, you can't see it. You'll never see the moon. If it's a rock, a ball, it should be a ball. Every month, every 29.5 days, you should see the moon blocking the sun, at least on the same plane, or 5 degrees higher or 5 degrees lower. Why? Because the ecliptic of the sun is like this. And the moon's is a little bit different. So here, where the moon's plane intersects the sun's plane, This is called Rahu, North Node.
Yeah, K2 Rahu, yeah, from Vedic astrology.
Rahu. This one's called K2, South Node. So when the moon, let's say this one happened in Leo. Well, let's put Leo up here. So what happened was on the 21st of August, the sun was here in Leo at the very end of Leo. So let's put it up here. As 30 degrees of Leo. The moon was also here, but what was causing the solar eclipse was Rahu. It's a node. And so when the sun and moon are together here, anywhere away from the nodes, you never see the moon when they're together, when they're conjunct. Every month they are coming together along this ecliptic, every month, here, 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 but only when the moon and the sun are together at one of these two nodes can an eclipse occur. Never ever in the history of the universe has an eclipse occurred anywhere else other than near the nodes. And the nodes are going backwards, retrogressing 18.5 years. The nodes. They go backwards. Right? So, here is the question. Why is it every month when the moon comes near the sun, it disappears? It's nowhere. You can't see it here, can't see it here, you can't see it here for 2.5 whole days. And then, at the new moon, wow, you see this beautiful crescent and it begins to be visible again. Because only astrology, as far as I know,
Yeah.
has the answer and can explain why the moon is invisible for 2.5 days every month, every 29.5 days. Reason being is because it's under the beams of the sun. Now, I don't know of any other field of knowledge that has any explanation for why all of a sudden a rock, the moon rock, according to Copernicus and all of the astrologers who follow heliocentrism, which is satanic, hence 96% of astrologers, probably more, are frauds, liars, and deceivers. Because they're telling you that the moon is a rock, because Copernicus says that. But Ptolemy and all the other astrologers, they said the moon is an archangel. The sun is an archangel. Jupiter, these are archangelic, sonoluminescent beings. They are spiritual beings. And yet the Copernicans want to make the moon a rock. Well, where is the moon? How does the sun make the moon invisible every month? It's magic. No explanation. What is the explanation? I've never heard an explanation. Astrology tells you. You see?
Yeah, they only repeats what somebody says in the past, but no proof. They don't care about evidence. Yeah. But we can see by the telescope, we can see by camera that the horizon no change is still flat. When we see, for example, object on our horizon moved, we still is not hiding. Yeah, it's not. When we take a stronger telescope, we can still see the same flat line, and the ship of also other object on the horizon.
Yes. Yes. So, so you see, the science of astrology has been suffering for 500 years because astrologers have been teaching an incorrect and very, very atheist, materialist model of the universe. Ptolemy, who was good for all the astrologers for 2,000 years, 1,500 prior to Copernicus, he taught that first and foremostly is the Earth. The whole system is geocentric and stationary Earth. Hence, the luminaries that we see in the firmament above us, they are beings of four dimensions, of the fourth dimension, and of light. And so, in so doing, the astrologers that have accepted the Copernican revolution, they have turned themselves into atheists, and they are turning people away from God's religion, which is astrology, and from abstaining from meat. Here is Porphyry, one of the most famous of all astrologers of history. We still have his house system today because his house system was so good. And he and all of these other astrologers that I've mentioned show that you cannot be a meat eater and an astrologer at the same time. That's like being a prostitute and a virgin at the same time. It's impossible.
It's a good comparison.
Exactly. So you see these astrologers that are eating dead pigs' bums and dead cows' bums. They've got bacon breath. This is dishonorable to astrology. This is sacrilegious. This is disgusting. The vampires who are not astrological out there, who have lust for blood and for murder and for butchered animal-bodied parts, yes, they can eat meat, but they are uncultured and uncivilized and unevolved and undeveloped.
But if you look at our teeth doesn't really show to eat meat, yeah? Because I understand some monkeys or dogs who have this special teeth longer to break the meat, but our digestion system, our teeth doesn't shows to eat meat. Actually, what they're saying, that the scientists saying that the protein from the meat is very helpful, but this is not true because the plant's protein, the absorption to the human body is much bigger, but the only difference is that we don't need big volume of this plant protein. We can eat less plant protein than meat protein, but the absorption is for our body is much healthier.
Yes. Yes.
So they're saying only volume because this is big volume of protein in the meat, but this is nothing compared to absorption. So for example, you can eat magnesium from chemist and absorption will be 2%, and you pay lots of money for this, but you can go to the sea and the magnesium in the sea, it's 100% absorption for free. Yeah.
That's right. So it is a lie that we need meat. This is a lie which originates with the meat industry, which originates with the Jesuits. The Jesuits were the one that started this industrial meat industry of abattoirs when they started conquering the Americas. And you know, they had lots of land. They paid to have all the trees destroyed so that they could grow cattle, and then teach humanity that eating dead animals should be part of our diet. And the astrologers were horrified. This is disgusting. This is so putrid and demonic. I mean, I can't understand how astrologers think they are astrologers and they're eating putrefying dead corpse in their diet. We are supposed to have a godly science. Astrology is such a godly science. Let me show you how Firmicus Maternus teaches. This is like, he has the astrologer's oath. The astrologer's oath is like the Hippocratic oath, and the Hippocratic oath is for doctors, and they live by that oath. Well, this guy, you know, one of the fathers of Western astrology 2,000 years ago or so, he gave us this beautiful oath here. Now, does this sound like many of the astrologers that you know? Because when I look at some of the astrologers, I see gluttons. I see heavy flesh eaters. I see bacon written all over their faces. I can see they eat meat because they're toxic. They look ugly. They look demonic. And that's what scares people about astrologers, because they are committing the crime of eating murdered animals. And they don't realize that all of the ancient astrologers, all of them, were all vegetarian. So, let's have a look, shall we?
Yes.
At what the great ones say about our beautiful science, and see how it compares with the astrologers of today, because you'll find that the astrologers of today do not even bear a candle to the ones of ancient times, because the ones today, they are Copernican, and Copernican heliocentric astrologers are liars, deceivers, and frauds. They are satanic and they are atheist. In Firmicus's day, astrologers worshipped God. There was no atheism or animal eating in astrology. Okay, so I find that most of these New Age astrologers that are Jesuit Copernicans, upside down spinning, I find that they've got a very strong atheist spirit. They're demonic. I can't stand them. They give me the creeps. You look at the article, the advertisements for astrologers in the newspaper. Do you see any good-looking astrologers? I don't, particularly not the women. The women look like hags, and they're heavy flesh eaters.
I'm actually not interested in the Western astrology, because I know they are not perfect. They don't use proper calculations. That's why it's a lot of misunderstanding, and people don't really know why it's not exact matches. But the frequency, we can say Santos about the frequency and the Rothschild family. What they changed this tune 8 years ago by Rockefeller Rothschild Foundation. Why they forced to change this the tune from 432, which is the golden ratio, to 440 Hz, which is not very good for our body cells.
No, it's not, because it's unnatural, and it doesn't complete all the resonances, all the harmonics to complete the whole field of sound. 440 hertz is very unnatural, whereas 432, just 8 frequencies down, is natural, and so all the harmonics are natural and they're full, and there's no gaps, there's no missing harmonics, which are very not so good for the health. Here is what they say now. Western astrology is very accurate. You know, you can do medical astrology perfectly accurate with Western astrology. Both systems are accurate. I don't pay much attention to people who try to diminish the West or the Eastern styles, because both systems are having great success. Tropical Western astrology is much more accurate when it comes to the physical and the body. You can do medical astrology to the degree and find all the weaknesses in the body by knowing various degrees. And so this shows that the body is in tune with the ecliptic, which is the ecliptic zodiac. And so tropical astrology is the science of the ecliptic, the science of light, and the science of energy. So when people say, do you believe in astrology? Well, my answer is, well, do I have to believe in English to speak English? No, I don't believe in English. I know English. And so you don't need to believe in astrology. It's just a language. It's a language of energy. And this is the conduct of an astrologer. Now you, whoever you are, who try to read these books, since you have received the whole knowledge of this divine science, and are now endowed with the secrets of the stars, and have learned the first principles of the art, shape yourself in the image and likeness of divinity, so that you may always be a model of excellence. He who daily speaks about the gods, or with the gods, must shape his mind to approach the likeness of divinity. Therefore, study and pursue all the distinguishing marks of virtue, and when you have trained yourself in these, be easy of access, so that if anyone wishes to consult you about anything, he may approach you without fear. Be modest, upright, sober, eat little, be content with few goods, so that the shameful love of money may not defile the glory of this divine science. Try with your training and principles to outdo the training and principles of worthy priests. Keep away at all times from the enticements of the shows, lest anyone think you are a patron of this kind of thing. For the priest of the gods must be apart from low, base pleasures. Do not entrust the secrets of this religion to the sinful greed of men's minds. For one should not initiate souls of depraved men into the holy rituals. This divine science cannot at any time adhere to a mind captured and stained by wicked greed, and it always sustains the greatest loss when it is defamed by improper intentions. Therefore, be pure and chaste, and if you have separated yourself from all kinds of wicked activity which destroy the spirit, And if the desire for the right way of life has freed you from any suspicion of crime, and if you conduct yourself as one mindful of the divine seed, approach this work and commit to memory the following books. So you see here that these astrologers were very, they had a way of life. Astrology is not just something that you call yourself. You know, if you don't look like an astrologer, which means like a vegetarian, you're bringing disgrace to your science, because it's a way of life. It's also a dietary way of life. It's a mental way of life. It's
an example, example to the people.
Exactly. We need to be exemplary. If you go to a doctor to heal you and he's really, really fat and unhealthy, you're not going to go back to him because he's not healthy. That's obesity is not healthy. And so if you go to a fitness trainer, a fitness coach, and he's got a big fat gut and big fat head because he eats a lot of meat, well then that's not a good example. You want a good looking man who, if he can make his body beautiful, you want to imitate that body, so you want to be trained by him. And an astrologer must be walking a beautiful, pure life before he can interact with anyone and share his sacred science with anyone. First, he must be pure, 100% pure, and no murder, no bloodshedding should be on their tongues.
But Santos, when you see the big pharma, and we know that when people eat meat, this meat they staying a long time in the stomach, in the belly, and ferments and produce toxin, a lot of toxin for our body. So our body is getting sick. There is another thing. When the animal is dying or is killed by unnatural, then he's got special hormones, which is negative hormones what we eat, and we became this. We absorb this this frequency of this energy, which is bad energy, and everybody is going like a zombie because what you eat, you became what you eat actually. Yeah.
Yes. Well, people are looking like the animals they eat. People think they're clever if they eat just fish. Well, you're going to have a fishy heart. You're going to be flaccid and fishy, and you're going to be swim around in schools. You see, fishes are in schools, and so they put you in a school, because when you eat the meat of a pig, you become a swine. When you eat the meat of a cow, you become chattel. When you eat the meat of sheep, you become a sheeple. When you eat the meat of goat, they make you a scapegoat. When you eat chicken, you become chicken-hearted. You run away. You're a coward. So eating the animals makes you like the animals.
Yeah, and also antibiotics. Actually, all meat has antibiotics. So people when they eat meat, they kill the bacteria flora in which is our actually, because this flora we are healthy, we're not getting these diseases. But when you eat meat, you get a lot of toxins. You eat a lot of antibiotics, what kills our immunological system, and in our stomach is immunological system what save us from diseases. So it's all actually cycle what the people today force us to, what we need to eat. Even the vegetables and fruit in the hypermarkets, supermarkets, they don't have any enzyme. They don't taste like an apple. Yeah, it looks like an apple, but not taste. There is no enzyme inside. It's produced so fast based on a lot of different chemicals what helps to grow, but there is no enzyme what is important, will give us the energy.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Which
And you see that you said about the Copernicus, how the Jesuit they change a way of thinking globally, and you can see another example is this change, this frequency. Like whole world that time was against to change the tune key, because why? What is the reason to change? Yeah, like from in the past hundred of years they tuned the instruments by 432 hertz, but now big families came with the foundation with lots of money and says, okay, we need to change it and we need to cut it off all plants like canopy, yeah, from what marijuana is actually as a plant with a lot of THC, CBD for people who has a lot of diseases, but they can't pay so much money to get this natural medicine.
Yes, this is sad. Once upon a time, there was hemp and cannabis growing all over the planet, and people were using this plant for all kinds of applications, and it is the most productive plant and useful plant known to man in the history of history.
It's very strong hemp. They have a gender female and male, yeah, as a plant,
Yes.
as a plant, which is not very common. I was going to ask you, Santos, about Alexandria Library. What I think it was the last big place in Alexandria when they had some books, manuscript from all over the world, and you know a lot of authors of books would come from Alexandria also, and somebody destroyed this place, and copies of the books he took to Vatican or other places. There is a lot of different information, but when the Alexandria Library was destroyed, it wasn't in the world such a place like this, what we could continue this knowledge. And the only few people today, they try to dig into the ancient manuscripts, ancient books, to pass this knowledge to future generation. But this Alexandria, it has to be, used to be huge place with huge knowledge from all around the world, I think. And this is something what we see today. We don't have this knowledge. We've been disconnected totally. Probably this knowledge, these books in Alexandria Library was also before big catastrophes, and also Piri Rice maps, what shows the Antarctica with no ice. It seems that he got copies of this map from Alexandria libraries.
Yeah.
It was 600 years ago when he had these maps. It was exactly map of the Antarctica without the ice. So it is impossible to make this kind of map. Even today, it was very hard to do this, but they presume that he had some copies from back in the time, so from libraries like Alexandria Library.
Yeah. Yes. Well, it is said that the Romans destroyed the library at Alexandria, but the Romans are not stupid. They do not destroy science. They steal science. They stole the science from the Carthaginians to become a maritime power. They managed to acquire the maps and the blueprints for how the Carthaginians made ships, and so Rome started making ships and had a massive maritime army and this is how they conquered Carthage and in the Punic Wars, and then became the world's maritime power. So Rome does not destroy anything that can't benefit them. So they knew that the Library of Alexandria contained priceless gems, so they obviously would never burn those books. What they did was they burnt secondary manuscripts and just books that were common.
Yes. There is some copies of this knowledge somewhere.
Yes, Rome, at the Vatican Library.
Yeah.
Everything which exposes Rome, which is all this science here, true cosmology. See, now we've got Copernicus. Copernicus can't explain any of this with his moon rocks. Neither can the astrologers who think that they're flying in space on a Santa ball, upside down, spinning, wobbling, thrusting, orbiting, rotating.
Yeah.
The Earth is still, and the moon, this is natural for the moon to be invisible for 2.5 days, because the moon is not a rock. The moon is a sonoluminescent archangelic being. Simple. So it's a no-brainer. Astrology has all the answers. Astronomers don't have any answers. They have no answers why the moon is invisible for 2.5 days, 60 hours. You cannot see the moon, and yet they are together. They are conjunct. Why? Why does the moon rock, disappear, when it's supposed to be much, much closer? It's about 500 times closer to us than the sun, if not more than that. And they say that it's because the sun is 93 million miles away and the moon is 220,000 miles away, and they appear to be the same size. Well, they don't appear to be the same size. They are the same size. That's how come they always, even though we're thrusting and wobbling and hurtling through space at Mach 88, that's why the moon and the sun are always the same size, because they are the same size, exactly the same size. And all of these supernovas and big superstars that they reckon are out there, that's all rubbish. It's all nonsense. Those stars are just points of light embedded in the firmament. Cosmology is easy. Just read the Bible and read Ptolemy, who was an astrologer, not Copernicus, who was a Jesuit. The Jesuits, the globalists, they own the New World Order. They run the Inquisition. Today, the Inquisition is called the Doctrine of the Holy Faith. You can see that in Wikipedia. Just put the word Inquisition, go to Wikipedia, go to the 3rd paragraph, and you'll see that the name of the Inquisition is now called, they changed it in 1965, it's called the Doctrine of the Holy Faith.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's even in the Bible. The problem is with the translation with the Bible. In each country, somebody translate who didn't know really 100% ancient language, translate to somebody's language 200, 300 times, and the astrology in the Bible was totally unmarked. You can give an example with, for example, Pisces symbol, Aries as a Abraham, as a ram. So you can maybe tell us a bit about this symbols of astrology in the Bible. We have 12 zodiacs. We have Sun, Jesus. We have also symbols of Aquarius. What comes? Pisces for 2,000 years, and the fish symbol, and Jesus as a big fisherman, and also the Aries, Abraham, and the symbol of cattle, gold cattle, what worship the ancient Jewish.
Yep. And all of these symbols, they are in the Bible. Jesus is every sign of the zodiac. In Aries, he is the Lamb of God. In Taurus, he is the rock. In Gemini, he is the twin. In Cancer, he is the scarabus, or the scarab beetle. In Leo, he is the lion of the tribe of Judah. In Virgo, he is the bread of life. In Libra, he is the just, who shall judge the righteous from the unrighteous. In Scorpio, he is as wise as serpents and as cautious as doves. In Sagittarius, he is the one riding on the white horse. In Capricorn, he is the scapegoat of Israel. In Aquarius, he is the Son of Man. In Pisces, he is the fisherman of men. And so this is just one example where astrology is throughout the Bible. Jacob and his 12 tribes, all of his brothers, they all have the characteristics of the zodiac. In fact, in Genesis chapter 49, Jacob blesses his 12 sons, and he gives them a blessing which corresponds each one with one of the signs of the zodiac. Then you go to the Bible, and the Bible is a very interesting book, because in the book of Job, God is telling Job that in chapter 38, verse 32, he said, "Can you bind the chains of the Pleiades, or loose the bands of Orion? Can you lead forth the Mazzaroth in its season?" So here's this word Mazzaroth. Well, Mazzaroth means zodiac. And this is God saying, do you even know the zodiac and the order of all of them, so you can tell the seasons and the times that are coming? Can you tell forth the Mazzaroth? Or are you stupid? Are you one that has no knowledge of astrology? Because one who has no knowledge of astrology, he is despised in our science, because this is an uncultured individual who is not holy, not divine. What is divine? Well, you see, it's funny because divine is God, yeah?
Yes.
And God is the source. So, diviners who are astrologers are condemned in the Bible. The Bible doesn't condemn astrology. The Bible only condemns astrologers. Jesus does not condemn the law. He only condemns lawyers. So, sorcerers and diviners, because they should be speaking about what is divine and what is source.
Yes.
But see, these have a bad name. A sorcerer is considered to be someone who is practicing dark magic. But this is not so. And this is why astrology has suffered like many other sciences, and astrologers have become frauds. They are teaching erroneous concepts of the universe, which are satanic, and they've forgotten their true science. They've forgotten that we are geocentric, always have been, and always will be. And astrology works only on a flat horizontal earth. All right, my friend.
All right, the Santos. Do you think this date in the Bible, 24th December 25th, is it related to somehow in the astrology? in the zodiac, because in the past we have common Sumerian, Egyptian, Roman, the same date, 24th, 25th December, Mitra, Jesus, and other. Is it related to sun, do you think? Sun movement?
Yes. Yes, all the festivals of the past, of all religions, they are all syncretized. Every culture has always celebrated a Christmas day because it's the day that the sun starts going from Capricorn to Cancer, from one tropic to the other. That's the 25th of December.
Sorry, the Trinity. Do you think is connected with sun? If you can divide date for 3 different parts, when sun rise and then in the sun in the middle and then sunset, or is it connected with Trinity, with degree of zodiac?
It's everything. There's many trinities. The sun, the moon, and Saturn, Isis, Horus, and Set, the Jesuit coat of arms, IHS, Isis,
Yeah.
Horus, Set. So that's one trinity. The other trinity is all vested in the sun, because the sun is, like we are, spirit, soul, and body. So there is soul Invictus, and then there's the physical body, and then there's the son of the sun, or the father of the sun. So S-U-N and S-O-N are the same word. And so the sun is a trinity in itself. Then the sun belongs to a trinity of sun, moon, and Saturn. And then there are other orders of trinity. For example, the dome in the heavens above the firmament, that is the Dominus, which is the Lord, which is the Father. And the sun is the S-U-N, S-O-N in the sky. And so the Father and the Son, the dome is like a mirror. And the sun, when it comes in the morning, when it comes to your region of the flat earth, the dome, which is a mirror, causes all the land to be filled with illumination and light. It's not the sun that is causing all the light during the day. It's the reflection off the dome. It's a mirror. And the dome is dispersing, diffusing the light so that it comes from every angle. The sun can't do that because the sun is over there emanating, I shouldn't say emitting light, I should say it's a field perturbation. So the sun is radiating in the field so that light is projected out in its curved linear rays, but it's the reflection of the sunlight off the dome, the mirror, the blue, beautiful firmament above us that is causing the light to go throughout the earth.
Santos, let's say something positive on the end. In Vedas, there is a lot of eras. For example, they saying that today we have Kali Yuga era, which is the Kali influence, the era of stupidity, darkness, wars, and unknowledge. What do you think about this? And do you think this era will change very soon, and people wake up, or it's gonna be the same for longer?
I don't know. It could be both. It could be that the world will go really, really pear-shaped and bad, and all of the 3D people who are trapped in the matrix and who are zombies and vampires, they will actually go down one timeline and they will experience all the bad that they deserve because they didn't wake up in time. And the ones like us who have ascended, we will somehow merge into a different timeline and we will go into a paradise timeline. Whereas the unworthy, the sheep on the right and the goats to the left.
So it's sinus cosinus, yeah? Like a cos and sin.
Yeah.
Santos, thank you very much, my friend, and hope we will have a chance to speak in the future as well for other subjects. And
Sure.
all the best, and thank you very much once again.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, brother. Bye-bye.
Good night. Bye-bye.